So we're just going to walk through some information relative to clubs and ASI financial services. The first, just some factual information, right? We have our office located here in the TSU. We're right across from Student Life and Leadership on the second floor of the TSU. You may not recognize us this year if you've ever been to our offices in the past, because we've had a complete renovation of our space. It's really, hopefully easier and brighter to access us. And we have automated a lot of our functions ever since COVID. Like everyone else, we've using much more email communications and trying to facilitate transactions through email. So that's our email address, our web address, and our phone number for our offices. So today I want to talk to you about the services that we provide to the clubs, right? Think of us basically as the bank or the banking services for all of the clubs, anyone registered with SLL. So you go through the Titan link and you do your requirements for Student Life and Leadership. And then we're the next steps, right? If you plan on having any type of membership dues, collecting money, making payments and expenses for things, then you actually have to open an account with us. If you are not going to do that, and plenty of clubs do not use, money exchanging hands, then you do not have to. So those that make it through the Titan link process and would like to open an account, we're here for you, right? We're here to help you. We're here to get things in place for you and to understand everything involved in owning an account. So once we open the accounts, we then make deposits for you, or deposits through online cash sales, and deposits, of course, are money going into your account. And we pay bills for you, whatever you request, whether it's for yourself or another student, whether it's for a vendor, right? So a vendor is somebody you do business with. So we pay your bills. And then we provide reporting to you on your activity and your club balance. So you can ask questions at any point in time, just raise your hand. But basically, to open an account, once you meet the requirements, as I said, if you're a new club, you're going to have to complete the agency account form. And what that account form asks is, of course, for your signatures, because we need a signature on anything that you want to have paid, right? We can't pay anything unless you sign it, just like you signing the check, right? We want you to complete an agency form. This sets you up and asks for signatures, but it also asks an important question too, that if the club were to dissolve, or if the club were to go inactive, where would you like the dollars accumulated in your account to go? And you have some choices on that form. And you can have those dollars go to another CSU entity, such as the Arboretum, or you can have it go back to ASI for general purposes, or you can have it go to any other charitable organization. It can't just go back to you. You can't say, I want all the money out. So you want to complete the agency account form, and then the account will be open for you. If you're a returning club, each year, because folks in your positions, the president, the treasurer, and the advisor sometimes change. So each year we will reach back out to you once you finish all your requirements for Student Life and Leadership, and we're going to ask you to respond to a signature request form. Those signatures from campus requirements have to be original. You can't just give us a typed version of your signature. You're going to have to sign it, and you're going to have to make sure the 3 parties listed on the signature request make the signature, have the signature in place. Once we get those signatures back, your account is open and it's available for you to use. Some of the questions. This is a check request that might be out of order. Sorry, open an account. There's an agency account form. There we go. Nope. No, it's not it either. Sorry. That's the deposit form. One more. Let's see if there it is. That's the agency account form. So if you're a new club, this form's online. It's called the agency account form. You can see in the big square box here, hopefully, that those are the places that, this is where you would designate where the monies would go. And you see the 3 signatures at the bottom. For the returning clubs, this is a condensed, it's just really asking you for your signatures, and they'll have to be, again, completed and sent back to us. So students have used their phones to do mobile signatures. Students have taken pictures and sent it on to the next person. So you can use whatever tool you want to get it back to us. You can get it back to us electronically. You can physically drop it off at our office. We don't have a preference for that. Whatever is easiest for you to get that back to us. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to go back 3 minutes. Okay, so that's after you open the account. We'll go the next, there you go. You're going to make a deposit, right? So the money's coming in. We're going to take anything from you, cash, checks. We'd like you to count it and give us a total before you come to the office. If you have it in your, if you have it on your person, you just want to bring it up here. We have the forms here. You can fill out the form at the window. You can fill it out prior. The form is online, as I said, and you're going to bring it to our office. In the past, we used to require that you have signatures on the deposit, but that kind of isn't really helpful for you as we've talked to students. So really, we're going to take money from anybody. Anybody can bring us money. We're going to deposit it for you. All right. And after the deposit is made, we're going to send in, we've been doing this throughout the year. We're emailing the advisor, the treasurer, and the president of the club. Okay. And that deposit form is in here in my list of forms. The next one, there we go. So in the deposit form, it's pretty straightforward. You can fill out how much you're providing to us. If it's cash, what denominations are the bills? Hopefully there's no coins, or the number of checks and the check total. So we put on here the cash and check total. And what we'll do is we'll check that at the window to make sure if you say you're giving us $100, we're going to check it there and make sure it's $100. We're going to have you sign it, and you'll walk away with that as your receipt. So this deposit form is not only the documentation of the deposit, but you will leave with that as your receipt. So the other part of what grew over the period since the shutdown, the pandemic, has been the online cash sales, and we will continue to do that again this year. And we're hoping that it opens up to more clubs so that we have less cash and checks to deal with. We've had students talk to us about not wanting to use cash and not having to have to come and make these deposits. So there is an option. It's an online form. It's going to be very similar to what's been done in the past, but Eventbrite was the form that was the application that was used. However, Eventbrite charges you 7%, and your club was charged 7% for every dollar collected. So it adds up when you're doing things like membership drives, right? So there's another option that's much cheaper. It's around 3% credit card fee or debit card fee. And we'll be switching to that this year at some point. So we've had some initial meetings, and we'll be able to help you transition to that. It really will be kind of seamless to you. You're really not going to notice much of a difference. It's still going to have your club information, whether you're selling a t-shirt, whether you're asking everyone to chip in $10 for something, or you're doing a big membership drive. You're going to be able to have the revenue collected via debit or credit card and recorded to your club account right at the end of the month. Does anybody have any questions about that? So that, of course, when you use the credit and debit card, you don't have a deposit form to fill out. We simply will know based on that, based on you folks swiping their card and so forth, that, or not swiping their card, sorry, that's for an in-person transaction. Online, when you make the sale and the sale occurs, we will get that into our bank account. It will be tagged with your club's information, and we'll be able to record to your club account, similarly to the way we're doing that now. But that doesn't require a deposit form. Only the cash and checks do, obviously. Okay, so then the other side of the transaction, right? The other side is once you make your deposits, now we're going to pay some bills. You're going to reimburse somebody for some funds. So you have to complete a check request. And that course, again, online form, fill it out. And the form that is currently on our website is different than in past years. This past year, we've accepted the old form, but we really need you to use the new form. And the reason why is because we've changed our expense accounts. In the past, you used to have like literally 2 accounts. It said deposits, membership deposits, and expenses. So we're not going to be using that. We really, as an accounting function, really want to use the nature of the expense, right? So now we have some expenses listed for you that will say things like dues and subscriptions, or hospitality, meaning food and snacks, or it will say promotional items if you have promotional items. So the form has those expense codes listed for you. So when you go to pay an expense, it's just like, yeah, just pay, the student over here money because they went to, the Ralph's and bought some food. No, it's really going to be sort of a descriptive more so that says what that expense is, what it's for, and that is going to show up in your reports. So you're going to get better reporting and better detail of what was spent, and you're going to see that on this expense request form. So the information that we need, of course, is pretty obvious, right? Who do we pay? Who are they? What's it for? And then, of course, it has to be signed by the authorized persons, your treasurer and your advisor. But the important point here is that we've included phone number. And the reason we've included phone number is our department has had a history of students receiving checks and they never deposit them. So they go uncashed for a very long time. After a certain period, it's 3 years, we have to turn those checks over to the state. All right. In the meantime, what we're going to be doing a more concerted effort of doing is following up a couple of months after it remains uncashed. So if you've paid somebody out of your club money and they don't cash that check, the money is now out of your cash or out of your agency club account, right? But it is not, the cash is still held with ASI. So the ASI, our department can't keep that money, right? We have to either give it to the person you intended to, right? Or it has to get turned over to the state. So prior to that turnover, we're trying to reach out to the students to say, hey, did you lose that check? Did you even get the check? So we have had not good success using their email. We're really hoping you can give us their phone number as well. So in the event they don't cash that check, we want to get to them in a short enough period so that we can, either reissue the check if it's lost, if it was never received at wherever they were supposed to be living at the time, and hopefully get the students their payments in a timely manner. So vendors, they tend to cash their checks right away, or they're calling you saying, how come you didn't pay me? But unfortunately, a lot of our students have these outstanding checks. Okay. And so we'll just look at that check request form. Nope, next, there it is. So this form is the form you're going to use. As I said, it has many more accounts listed now. There are the account codes that we'll be coding the expenses to. The form, again, is online. It's very straightforward as to what should be filled out on here. But again, any questions, you can certainly call us, email ASI Financial Services, whatever method's easiest for you. All of this, it can be accepted electronically in our email account. So as long as you have the supporting documentation for the payment, we are fine. So the support that goes with a check request would be things like receipts, right? Receipts or whatever documentation you have. Okay, so the reporting. So once you have this money coming in and checks are getting paid and going out, the report is to allow the officers to review the account balance at any time, to review deposits and disbursements, obviously, and really to see the balance of where you are at any point in time in your total cash position. So These are the instructions on how to get to the online report. These instructions are also available online. You're going to see this box. We don't have to go through it in detail. You obviously can follow it through, but you're going to see this box come up. You're going to sign on with your username and password, and we'll be sending that out to you when you open your account. So you're going to know what your username and password are from there. And then you're going to get to these screens. It's not, I wouldn't say it's as user-friendly as we'd like it to be, but these are the screens that you will look at to key in what information you'd like to see from the beginning date to the end date. And our year end begins on July 1st and it ends on June 30th. So that means that all transactions recorded through June 30th are everything from the prior year's activity of the club, and beginning 7/1 now will be the new year for that club's operation. We can go to the next one. There we go. So what's really important, and what I think some of our clubs are missing, right? This is if you've been asleep so far, wake up at this point. So what we need is you to look at that beginning balance, right? And the beginning balance is accumulation of all the activity from last year. And this report runs, of course, at the top there from 7/1 to June 30th, right? And that fiscal year should say 2022. We did edit that PDF file, missed that. It'll be for your club only. And it will be, again, we're going to give you username and password for your account once you get one. And it's going to show you that this year, this past year, this club accumulated a bunch of activity, but that beginning balance on July 1, 2021 was $39.44. So without you doing anything, without having any activity this year, you can spend $3,944.11 because it's there. Because it's there and available to you. Then you're going to go through the year, and this club went through the year. They had some transactions where they made some deposits. They bought some supplies. When you buy supplies, we have to collect California's tax there. There's some deposits against supplies. And at the end of this year, so they finished activity May 16th. At the end, their balance is now $32.70.04. Which means they started with the $39.44, and you can see that the first deposit on 10/13 was $3,000. So that running balance started at $69.44, and it ends with $32.70.04. It might seem like a simple concept, but many of our clubs continue to build that beginning balance. In other words, they're not dipping into that beginning balance. This club did, right? You can see they started at 39, they ended at 32. So they spent a little bit of that 39.44, which is probably what you should be doing, right? But I'm not sure that people understand, or students understand, that beginning balance is available to you. Okay. So maybe if that's a large number, maybe you have plans for it or a budget for it, for your budget for the year. If you're a larger club, many of you, I hope, have budgets, and you're able to look at those dollars. But if you've been a club that has been continually accumulating that dollar amount, you may want to begin to ask yourselves as a club, what's our purpose of building that number up, right? I mean, you could have a purpose. Maybe in July you have a big expense you have to pay every year, and you have to pay it, and then you go on to collect dues and spend money in different ways, right? So you may have a purpose for that. But I just encourage you all to look at, yes, the question came in, do they have 32.70.04 as of July 1, 2022? Yes, they now have 32.70.04 to spend without any transactions beginning July 1 of this school year of 22. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
So this beginning balance, it's available for all clubs that apply for an ASI account? Is that what I'm getting?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is available to a returning, this is a returning club. So they had activity last year and they closed out the year and they ended up with a beginning balance of 39.44. And so they'll begin their year with that money basically in their bank account. And then they've added some more deposit, they added deposits, they spent some money, and now beginning July 1, 2022, they're gonna have 32.70 to start, right? If you're a new club, there aren't funds available for new clubs, not yet. That's not something that's happening now. So if you're a new club, you will see beginning balance 0.
I have a question.
Sure.
If the club was inactive for a year, would there still be potentially funds available through that club? Or is it, do all the clubs go to the charity or through the ASI once the club is inactive?
Great question. So the clubs have to be inactive for 3 years before the monies are provided to the organization designated when the club was first set up. So if it's inactive 1 year, that money's still there. The money will still be there. If it goes
Yeah.
3 years, yes, we under the agreement with the clubs, we would then look to turn those dollars over. But always call us first and check with us, because sometimes we let it go 4 years.
I just wanted to hop in just briefly. My name is Shao-Pan. I'm the Assistant Director for Student Life. Rebecca, I also wanted to clarify that the designation for where that money goes, that's up to you as a club, as Carolyn said, and that's basically that decision is made in your constitution. And so when you start the club, in the constitution at the end, it says, hey, if we go inactive, we want our funds turned over to ASI or to the Department of History or to this nonprofit org. And so that's something your club can designate. And in order to find that, you would have to look in your club constitution to see where, club members have opted to, turn that money over in case the club does go inactive.
Okay, great. Okay. I think that's the last one.
There's a couple questions in the chat.
Okay.
Well, one question to answer.
Yeah.
So there was somebody that came a little bit late and wanted to know the process of opening up their ASI account but they're a returning organization.
Right. So the first thing you're going to have to do is go through the SLL. Right. There we go. Meet all the SLL requirements through Titan Link. For sure. Have to do that first. We receive our information basically from them. So once we know that you're good to go, then you need to complete the agency account form online. You can do that, at the same time. You don't have to get any, I guess they do get confirmation back that they're good to go. At least I think so. So once you do, then you complete your agency account form. If you're a new organization, or we'll know that you've met all the requirements for SLL, and we're going to send out a signature request form for you. And as I said earlier, they have to be original signatures. They cannot be typed signatures.
Yes, that's correct, Carolyn. So once all of your requirements are met, to re-register your organization for the academic year, you will get an email that says, congratulations, you've met all the re-registration requirements. Once you receive that, then you can complete the agency account form, which includes updating any signatures for president, treasurer, and advisor. And then you'll have access to your agency account.
Yes. And I know there have been some issues with getting that advisor, rolled over each year. And I know Elisa deals with all those types of issues if the advisor is not, going to be participating this year. She can help you with all of that. Okay, so I mean, just in closing, I hope, you know, you come to, we're here to help you. We're here to serve you guys. Whatever we can do to make this easier, better, faster, simpler, we'd be happy to hear your, comments and, any kind of suggestions. We're trying to incorporate technology more and more. We're actually going to be going to a new accounting system this year. We hope to be live by July 1. So I'm hoping a lot of this is really kind of a front end of the accounting system as opposed to, you know, sort of a forms collection process and then having to go and, you know, turn around and put it in accounting. But yeah, we're really excited for the new year. And if anyone has any question about those opening balances, please come see us because as I said, some of them are growing and, you know, I sit and I look at it and I think, I wonder why they're having that grow instead of using it, right? So that's my hope is that that message gets out there. You got money, use it.
One more question came in. Is there a deadline for the process of reopening the account?
No, there's no deadline for that. You can do that at any time.
Okay, thank
You-
you. And then another question was, is there any important references we should keep on hand regarding these processes?
Simply the ASI website where under accounting services, you'll see it. There's a whole section for agency. And as I said, I know you've had a discussion or you will be getting a discussion about fundraising, which will be a completely separate item, right? If it has anything to do with fundraising, you're really going to be having to check in with philanthropic on anything you are hoping to do. But this is really sort of everything else except fundraising.
Perfect. And with that transition, if we have nothing else from ASI, I think we have Megan from Philanthropic who is going to share some stuff as well. So
Perfect. I
Megan,
went right to 11:30. Look at that, Kyle.
yep, perfect.
All right, everyone, have a great year.
Hello, my name is Megan Paradiso Alva. I am with University Advancement, which works closely with the Philanthropic Foundation. I am a development officer, so that means that I take care of all of the fundraising side of things for student affairs in the university. So I wanted to just kind of run through, because it's a bit of a confusing process for doing a fundraising event with student clubs. And what the process is for that. So I'm just going to share. Okay, so I put together just real basic list of what the steps are to put this event, any kind of event together. If you're doing an event like a restaurant give back night or something like that, where there's no, you don't have a budget, you don't have any vendors, you don't have any sponsors or specific donors, unless it's, you know, besides the restaurant. It's a really simple process. I will tell you that it does take us a little bit of time just to get the tax ID and review everything, just because it has to go through a few different channels on our end. So it could take a couple of weeks. So please bear with us. I know you want to, you know, get these events on the calendars and things like that. 99% of the time they will be approved, but it just takes us a little bit of time sometimes to get the tax ID number for you. And what you'll need that for, basically, for the most part, is the restaurant will ask for that.
Megan, sorry to interrupt. Someone is just asking if you could zoom in a bit on the doc so that they could see it a little bit better, I think. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Is that a little bit better? Okay. Okay. So what you would need your tax ID number, or our tax ID number, for is the restaurant would probably ask for that, just to make sure that we are a philanthropic organization, so a nonprofit rather than a for-profit organization. So we can get that to you. all you'll need to do is fill out the clubs and orgs fundraising form through the Titan Link portal. Again, it does sometimes take a couple weeks to get approved, so just bear with us. I have my information at the bottom of this, and I asked Kyle to send this out to everybody afterwards. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If it has been a couple of weeks and you haven't heard anything, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'm happy to dig in a little bit and see what's going on with that. If you are doing a bigger event or an event that involves any kind of vendors, payment to vendors, sponsors, or donors, then we need to do a little bit more in depth. So you will do step one. So filling out the clubs and orgs fundraising form through the Titan Link. And then you will need to send me the proposed sponsorship packet. So that would look something like for $5,000 sponsorship, you will receive your logo on X, Y, and Z, and admission to the event for 5 people, things like that. And then you would also give us your anticipated expenses and budget, so that we can put together what's called a fair market value, or goods and services, which is basically the cost for each person to attend that event, or the cost for each of the benefits for the sponsorship. So essentially, if you're having a $5,000 sponsor, and it costs you $500 for the t-shirts that you're going to give out to them, the food that you're going to serve them, all of those kind of costs that are associated with that event, we just have to take out the $500 from the philanthropic $5,000 that they're giving. So they're only getting $4,500 is what's considered a donation. That's getting a bit more in the weeds, so I won't dig too deep into that for you, but basically all you need to do is send me their sponsorship packet, any kind of contracts, if you have a vendor for your venue, for your caterer, any of those kind of expenses that you have, and then your anticipated budget. So if you could send that, and then I will submit those items along with paperwork to the Philanthropic Foundation for their approval. I will also be able to, if you need a website or a website to make gifts to, I can help with that as well. And I will fill out all of that paperwork on your behalf and get that over to the Philanthropic Foundation for their approval. Again, this can take a couple of weeks, so just bear with us. And I really don't mind you checking in with me. This is one of the small things on my plate. So I do appreciate a little nudge here or there, just as a little reminder. Some things to note with events. The events that are generally approved very quickly is we can like a gift in kind, which is like an item. Like if you were getting food donated for an event, or if you were getting a bunch of t-shirts donated, those are things we can definitely accept. And that's not usually a problem at all. And we can give them, we can give the tax ID number. A lot of times you'll still need that for the gift in kinds as well. Request for just the tax ID number. Again, if you're having like a restaurant fundraiser or something like that, and you just need the tax ID number, or if you have just a company that just wants to sponsor your club, they're not getting anything back, they're not doing anything else, they're just giving a straight check, but they need our philanthropic number, our tax ID number, we can do that pretty quickly as well. We do not approve Eventbrite requests on our side. So that would go over to Student Life and Leadership, or ASI. When you do apply through Titan Link for any of these events, apply with your CSUF email address. We can't send anything over to your personal email addresses. And that includes the tax ID numbers. If you're doing like a skate night or any kind of other fundraiser that's not specifically a restaurant give back fundraiser, we do need to review a copy of the agreement from any of the venues or clubs, just to make sure everything's good on our end. If you do need to put down a deposit or anything like that, it's not really a philanthropic event, unless you're actually doing like a fundraising portion of that. So if there's any kind of questions with things like that, those one-off things, go ahead and shoot me an email, and I can help kind of point you in the right direction there. If you're requesting a gift in kind, which again is just kind of like donated products or just more tangible items, not money. We just need to make sure that there's nothing kind of weird about it. It's not like, you know, they're donating something huge that we can't store somewhere, or they're donating something hazardous like chemicals, or something that, because we are the state of California, can't take, like tobacco, CBD, cannabis, firearms, weapons, fireworks, anything like that, we can't accept as an in-kind donation. And then I'll show you what will happen once everything is approved. So we'll approve everything on our end. We'll request that Student Life and Leadership fills out a gift in kind form, and Jose can help you with that. And I included his email on here. And then once it's approved, we will give you your URL link if you request that for a specific event. And then we'd also give you the W-9 tax form with our philanthropic number on there. So I will show you what that email would look like. So you would get an email like this. Again, you have to put in your CSUF email address, because we can't send it to personal email addresses. But it'll basically give you all the information you need. We also ask that you do not alter W-9 forms or change them, because that will make them void.